Welcome to the Boisterous Brothers. My name is Georg Rockall-Schmidt. I'm here with Damian Benedict. How are you doing today, Damian? Getting in the festive spirit? Because it's December now.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
I'm almost the complete embodiment of the Christmas spirit.
I imagine. So, yeah, the Scrooge spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I spent too many Christmases working, so fuck, I can't not give a fuck.
You know the famous bit in A Christmas Carol where whoever it is, Michael Caine, I think that was the traditional version, wasn't it? Michael Caine leans out of the window and says, "You boy, what day is it?" And the little peasant goes,
"What today, sir? Today is Christmas."
Yeah, and he goes, "Here, take a shilling and buy yourself a turkey or whatever, or buy me a turkey." Shouldn't the boy say, "Did you not just fucking hear me, old man? It's Christmas Day. Nothing's going to be open. Where am I going to buy a fucking turkey from, knobhead?" So,
well, yeah, I've never actually taken stock of that moment.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a glorious moment where you can see he's reformed his ways. He's a good man now.
Goes to little Jimmy Pratchett's house, whatever they're called. Crockett's, Davy Crockett's, that's the one.
Yeah.
Isn't it, from Miami Vice? And
wow, that's all over the map. I would love to see that movie.
And says, "Don't worry, I know I was a bastard for the last 20 years, but Christmas is on me." Well, it's too fucking late, Scrooge.
Yeah.
My son needed medicine 2 weeks ago, you bell end.
He won't see New Year's now.
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's
alive, but he's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his last Christmas.
Yeah.
These were the moments to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you could do, Scrooge? What would be absolutely wonderful? Just leave me stuff in your will and go hang yourself right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Christmas Carol, I think, that should have been written. That's real.
Yeah.
That's none of this happy bullshit.
There's truth in that art.
Right.
Art is truth. Truth is art.
Do you have any Christmas stories?
Naturally. Yes.
Of course. Being the Marks and Spencer's Santa Claus for the last 7 years.
Yeah. Well, I call it a Christmas story because it's something that happened around Christmas time.
Well, if Die Hard was a Christmas story, which it was.
Yes, of course. It's a definitive Christmas story. More so than fucking whatever, was it, Scrooge Muppets and Space Vice or whatever it was.
Scrooge Muppets and Space McDuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was just a dreary December morning. I get up early. And I'm checking. Well, I'm going to check.
Do you want me to put like a tambourine over this or something? Some jingly sounds.
Yeah, sleigh bells.
Yeah.
So I go to check my emails on my girlfriend's laptop at the time, and she did not think to clear up her browser the night before or whatever.
So it's not like you went into a history. This was just open.
No, it was just open. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were meant to be using her laptop. I don't know why that matters, but
I asked.
You just gonna look at pictures of cars anyway.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Still stroke one out.
I love a GT.
Bob from accounting.com.
Oh, God, I remember that. That is, yeah. That was a picture me and Damian saw, like, the first time we ever went on the internet together.
And we went back to the internet as well. That's the bizarre thing.
Do you know what? Actually, I looked it up not so long ago. It's from The Onion, I think. It's a joke.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
but it essentially was Bob from accounting. It was a picture of a guy, very grainy, low pixel quality image of a guy in stockings fucking a Ford Fiesta's exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
But like going back to it, it was a joke. But we ran away.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I saw the same one quite recently, but I saw something like that, and it was a dude in a teddy, with his dick in the exhaust pipe, but also quite impressively,
a dude with a teddy.
Like a basque, like lingerie type thing.
And that's called a teddy.
Yeah.
That's a turn off.
Well. That's what it is. But what was really impressive, not just with his dick was in the exhaust pipe, but also his balls.
I was going to say, you've got to have some girth to fuck an exhaust pipe. But I suppose if you're going to get your balls in there, no, you haven't. I remember somebody telling me about the first time they had sex, and it was completely ruined by their belief, their very ardent belief, because they tried this multiple times, that you have to get your balls in the condom.
You sure that just wasn't the lies that we just tell other kids at school to try and corrupt them?
Yeah, you got to get your balls in the condom, otherwise it'll turn out that the condom is made of razor blades.
Oh.
If you don't do that or something. So go on then, tell us what this horrible porn is that you saw.
So there was just this.
Keep in mind this is a family show.
Yeah, and it's Christmas time as well. Merry Christmas, by the way.
I mean, I am going to make sure the thumbnail is covered in like cartoon characters and stuff like that.
Well, that would be appropriate. It was called. It was a tab that was left open, and I saw the title "Black Cock Tentacle Monster." I did a double take because I wasn't sure I'd actually seen that because it was just so out of left field.
Yeah, because cock and tentacle, I mean, that's like a redundancy, isn't it? You know, you'd have known what it was if it was just black tentacle monster.
Yeah. Or black cock monster, whatever.
Black cock monster.
Yeah, this was my gripe. It's the tautology there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did this double take. I had to
Because a
check it
cock
out.
is basically a tentacle.
Yeah, of course.
Like
with suckers. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
That's what mine's like.
Runaway kids. You don't want to have sex.
Yeah. So yeah, I checked this thing out, and it's a video on it was called fapdo.com or something like that. Which wasn't my usual website for porn, so it was unknown territory for me. But it was a hentai thing.
So a drawing.
A drawing, lot of pictures.
Pictures.
And yeah, I think to check it out because she's still in bed at this point. It's like first thing in the morning, and I get up like hours before everybody else anyway. So yeah, I thought I have to check this out and see what's going on here. And yeah, I couldn't look at her the same ever again.
So I mean, okay, you've said it's a black cock tentacle monster, but it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? I mean, did you watch any of it?
Yeah. I watched a lot.
I watched like a good 35 minutes of it. Yeah, it was disgusting.
It's like a 10-minute thing, but I did. Yeah, I
You watched all of it.
I put the time in. I was absolutely fascinated.
What happens?
And rock hard as well. You've got these two girls that are just trapped in this sex dungeon. And one of them is strung up by this black cock tentacle monster, which you never see. You just see it wrapped around her hands, and she's kind of like spread eagle in the air. The other girl I guess is an orc, right? This massive green fucking dude who just kind of got her midair and just like he's sliding her up or down this massive fucking
cock.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're just basically just kind of flaying around.
But where does the monster come into it?
Oh, it happens. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, we don't need to know these details. Like, I'm not interested in that. Just get to the horrible tentacle monster thing.
All right. So yeah. As this bird's been fucked, this tentacle monster now, like parts of it drop off into a tiny little slug which crawls up her thigh,
like Slither.
Yeah, and into her ass.
Right.
And then just like she drops down to the floor, and that's essentially all you see of this monster.
Right. Oh, good.
But at the same time, the orc is now finished with this girl after a very massively bloody cum shot. As he blows his load inside her and just drops her to the floor. She thinks she's getting away.
Yeah.
She looks at her friend, and now because of that tentacle monster inside of her, she's now grown this giant alien penis.
Oh, so okay, yeah, right.
And
that makes sense.
Yeah, naturally, yeah. And proceeds to rape the shit out of her friend.
Right, and that's it. Please let that be it.
There's just one little kind of aside. There's some. It's all subtitled, and towards the end. When she's like raping her friend, it talks about how she's going to like come inside her, make her pregnant, and we all come back together, and we can be all made pregnant again all together and stuff like that. It was so many levels of what the fuck is going on. But what really got me was when I scrolled down to the comments section, there was one comment,
and it was from your username or something.
No,
it was one comment. Go on.
And it was just this guy that says. This video has been poorly translated. It really kind of spoils the subtext of this scene.
I suppose subtext is everything in something like that. So,
and I lost my shit when I saw that. I thought it was absolutely fucking hilarious. I couldn't tell if that was a joke or not, but I know there are some fucking perverts that would be like, no, this is not good. This is not up to the standard.
Well, even if it was a joke, it was someone who watched it for longer. I mean, you watched it for 10 minutes. I don't know how you can call anyone a pervert. It sounds. It's not that it sounds filthy. It just sounds shit.
Yeah.
It just sounds shit. It just sounds like. Yes, I mean your girlfriend. What did this? What happened to your relationship after this? Did this affect it? Because I'm kind of like listening to this and I'm thinking, well, I quite like complicated women, but there is a bridge, isn't there? That is too far.
Well, I mean, at that point, the relationship was in meltdown anyway, so it didn't really give a fight. I confronted her, and she was like, "Oh no,
it's your fault because you're just not giving me what I need, i.e., a black tentacle."
Exactly, like 8 feet of it crawling up inside my own ass. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I confronted her about it, and she just played ignorant. She's like, "No, that wasn't me. It was I don't know."
But she never gave you a proper excuse then.
No. And she was banged to rights, and I was
just
like,
brushed it off.
Yeah, it's like this is like the most interesting thing I've found out about you. Don't.
Yeah, it is interesting. I can't imagine there are that many women who are into that.
There was like a point maybe like a couple of months beforehand when you'd boot up the browser, and it used to be like you get like thumbnails of like frequently visited sites and what have you. So you'd have like Google, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff.
Back before the days of incognito mode.
Yeah, and one of them I didn't have any pictures or anything, but it has the title and it just said something about cartoon porn. I was like, "What's that all about?" And she was like, "Oh, back in Japan, it's like apparently my brother would use it," and I'm just like, "Oh, whatever."
Oh, man.
And she kind of like tried to pawn off the same story.
It can't be as bad as that Pikachu picture.
Um,
Well, look that up, kids. Enough of that.
Yeah.
Now we're going over to Lieutenant-Colonel Bilgewater, because hopefully he's not going to talk about anything like black tentacle monster porn. Oh my god.
Hello, the Boisterous Brothers. No black tentacle monsters. However, there were lots of monsters coming out for Black Friday, ruthlessly pushing and stepping over each other, bringing a ring of truth to the saying that if you stare too long into a bargain, you better watch it, because that bargain might stare back into you. Also, a 90-year-old cigar smoker died, perhaps signalling the end of communism in Cuba and the return of the very dead Fulgencio Batista. Also, Donald Trump offered sour grapes, despite winning American politician Idol, saying he would have won even better if millions of people hadn't voted. Or something like that. Yours reportedly, Lieutenant-Colonel Anonymous Bilgewater.
He's got the whole world in his bottom. 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 Frasier discovers his parents were embroiled in an adulterous scandal. The Frasier boys simply question the instances of a summer holiday that took place as children. Upon finding the truth, they pour vicious scorn upon Martin. Frasier very effectively achieves this in nothing but his underwear. The meat of this episode is the Frasier boys reminiscing over an old photo album. They comment that one of them has a small face and the other has chunky thighs. They do not allude as to which is which. Daphne, meanwhile, suggests that Frasier grow a moustache, of which I approve.
So this is obviously, I say obviously, this is the episode where Frasier finds out that what he thought happened as a kid, he thought that his father had a relationship with somebody else, or looking back, he thought that wasn't true. His perspective was skewed because he was a child and children are stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
He was also foolish as an adult. He still couldn't get it right.
Yeah, silly Frasier as a child, silly Frasier as a bald adult man.
I think
I imagine him as bald as a kid.
I feel that, I think that's a bit of a redundant thing to say. I imagine he was just as follically impaired as a child.
Yes, I think so. I imagine he actually had no hair, and he didn't start growing hair on his head until he was like 13 or 14. Like his puberty took place mostly on his neck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the reason in the first season he's got the long curly locks, because they are essentially pubes.
It's growing from his arse. It's like some sort of weird backward mullet.
He's very skillfully kind of fashioned it up the back of his shirt to pop out the back of his neck.
It's not attached to his back at all. He just has to wear big elastic bands.
Oh, yeah, it's essentially a very long ponytail.
Yeah, it's a very long vine growing, yeah.
And only grows out of a patch maybe that wide
Yeah.
at the top of his butt crack.
Yeah. It's like the most cunning comb forward ever. Just hasn't quite reached the crown.
Yeah. If he could just hold out for another kind of couple of years, he'd finally be able to get that fringe he's always dreamed of.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Maybe that's what Donald Trump was doing, whoever that guy was.
Yeah. He's dead now.
Yes, or president, whatever. Don't know. Not that into new. What's it called? News.
Nudes.
Yeah. So, have you ever assumed anything as a childling that you've realised was wrong?
Maybe taking things for granted that my parents would tell me. The only thing I used to kind of would get wrong as a kid was maybe like TV and movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched seemingly innocent things as a child and watched them again as an adult.
You watched that bit in Pulp Fiction where they're in the dungeon and the cops, doing Marcellus Wallace, and you were like, oh, so that's what sex is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely laid the groundwork for other things I would encounter in my adult years.
I never believed in Christmas, right? I never believed in Christmas. I never believed in Santa Claus. I never got that. Like, my parents tried to tell me Santa Claus was real, but it was always like, but it says on these presents, like it says on the little card from Mum and Dad, what? So you're giving Santa Claus these presents and he's bringing them back here. That seems
So
a waste
your
of time.
parents tried to present it in the
I guess
traditional Christmas
I guess
manner.
when I was 4, what, just by lying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's ever like they sat me down and said, "There's this man called Santa Claus who lives in the sky. He's not God. Don't ever confuse him with God. That's blasphemy. Blasphemy."
That's blasphemy.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas, you should be excited about Santa. There's this other guy called Jesus Christ. Don't worry about him. He's much more important, though.
But we'll get to him later.
Yeah, when it's too late. No, they never said anything like that, but definitely school did. None of the teachers were kind of, against it. I'm pretty sure as a kind of 6 or 7-year-old, it would have been quite hard for me to go to a teacher and say, "Does Santa exist?" And for them to say no.
I don't know. I would have.
I mean, maybe we've blown it for some people. Maybe this is like...
Oh yeah, because it turns out our demographic are like 6 years old.
No, not at all. Just retards.
Well, I think I would have got away with it at my school. I don't remember buying into it. I don't think my parents.
Yeah, but your school was like 95% Muslim.
Yeah, but it was still a Church of England school though, which is quite
Was it?
interesting. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because Santa and Church of England like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
bosom buddies.
bosom buddies. Yeah, tit queens.
I've never heard that expression before. But I'll make a point of using it in everyday conversation now.
Yeah, I think you should change your avatar to 2 tits being squeezed together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Anton Deck. But I don't know. It's something that I kind of never really got into. So I can't really think of anything I assumed. I think I was a very cynical child. What did I assume? I think I probably assumed I would have more hair at this time of my life. I also remember kind of thinking I don't know. I guess I kind of thought your early 20s or when you're... I'm going back to when I was just starting to be a teenager. I kind of thought your early 20s were it. That was the prime of your life. You were a young adult. You had energy. You were free. You presumably had a job, right? And you weren't just starting that job. And looking back, obviously that wasn't true, and that wasn't true for pretty much everyone I know. And it just makes me kind of think, well, people say, oh, well, when you hit 30, that's when you're experienced, but you're still young. Or your late 30s, that's the prime of your life because you know a lot of stuff. You've got some easy access to money now. And, it's just all bullshit.
Yeah.
Life is just suffering, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that about getting to your 30s, but I just feel I'll still have enough energy, but I will be broken and I will just start doing horrible things with that energy.
Yeah, I'll have enough energy to be a depraved human being.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slowly kind of going off those rails. I'm on that path without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, no, it is an interesting point. I remember thinking that by mid-20s or whatever, I would have broken ground with
something.
Yeah, with whatever career I was getting into.
Yeah, I guess some people have, but
they're bell ends. We don't talk about those people.
Not us.
Well, we didn't actually know anyone. In all fairness.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, I've probably walked past someone who was successful.
Once.
I've walked past,
Yeah. I think...
I probably bothered someone who was successful once.
I don't know. I think of the people we went to school with, we're probably doing the best with those kind of assumptions. We haven't become...
Yeah, we went to a sink school, Damian. They brought the army in once. No, we went to a good school, but it was just a school of little ambition. It was a small town school, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was basically a school that groomed future teachers.
Yeah, at best. People who'd be like, well, I'm just not passionate about anything. Teaching then.
Yeah. Go study sociology at university then.
And don't do the Rick Mail ironic thing either.
No, they didn't though. Oh my God. I think one of our friends did. But I mean, the people that were doing it, clearly you could tell just had no idea what they wanted to do next. It was just it's something.
Yeah, I used to have a girlfriend who studied business at a university, and I said, "Is that because you didn't know what to do?" And she looked at me incredibly offended and said, "Yes." And she was a fucking librarian. Yeah, I mean, now I think you need a degree in librarianism to be a librarian.
Well, yeah, I imagine these days, you have to
need a degree to be a fucking road sweep.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's just to keep people off the streets, isn't it, in their early 20s. Stop doing that with your cock. Join Hieronymus Swash and Mau Mau as they continue their journey in this week's instalment of The Case of the Curse of the Ruby Garnet,
Part 4.
In other breaking news, open warfare today conducted by at least two of the city's biggest mob families. The Silviano family, based out of Luigi's Lasagna.
God, I hate the news. A bridge fell on people. Poor people are poor. Women's rights. People in wheelchairs. Raining on Tuesdays.
Sounds like you have very specific memories of the news, boss.
That's right. It was when I was only 7 years old. Dad, can we turn the news off? It's boring. No.
Tough times.
Yeah.
How are we going to convince the museum to give us the real ruby garnet, boss?
With a little swash swish, Mau Mau. With a little charm. A little glint of the eye.
What if we have to talk to a man?
Oh, my charm is a double-edged sword, Mau Mau. Men and women are both drawn to me like bees to an allergic child covered in honey.
Dogs, too.
Oh, yes. We'll never forget the case of the Lupine Duchess.
Nor will she.
Here it is, Mau Mau. Pull up! Don't start looking for a babe, Mau Mau. Just park up here.
But it's a loading area.
And we are unloading a gut full of justice.
A gut full of what?
Justice! You, reception boy, I demand to see the museum administrator.
Reception boy, I'm 38.
But you're so smooth-skinned. See, Mau Mau? Honey catches more bees than vinegar.
This man isn't covered in honey, and it's flies, and I never said it didn't.
I must speak with the administrator immediately.
Well, what's this about?
About thwarting a dastardly plan.
Oh, is this about the painting of God?
What?
Yeah, because if it is, you'll need to sign a claim waiver.
It's not about the painting of God.
Oh, it isn't? But I thought that with all the deaths and the writing in Aramaic...
It's not about the painting of God.
That does sound interesting, boss.
Yeah, and there is a $3 million...
We're not here about the painting. We're here about borrowing the ruby garnet.
Ruby Garnet, you say? I'm the administrator of this museum, and I know exactly where you're from. You're from the telephones, aren't you? Ghastly people. Now they're poor.
Well, you see...
Theodolite Mannequin.
Seriously?
Well, you didn't say anything about Lady Telephone.
Oh, come on, Mau Mau. Everybody knows the telephones.
I'm afraid I certainly won't be able to loan you the Ruby Garnet for your own collection.
It's not that, Mr. Mannequin. It's that Lady Telephone is in great danger, and without the ruby garnet...
Oh, I'm sure you have a very compelling story. The telephones seem to come up with a new one every week now.
Time to turn on the swash charm. But Your Excellency, Mr. Mannequin, surely a magnanimous giant of artistic study, you must find in even the tightest armor of warranted skepticism a chink of compassion, and a shard of...
No Ruby Garnet.
But even the brightest suns are sometimes, briefly, eclipsed by moments of unexpected misjudge.
No.
Even as the cock crows on the morn, knowing the day will come, is there not a time when...
I said no. Good day.
Damn! Looks like he was one of the 3% impervious to my wit and wily ways.
Amazing how many of such a small percentage we meet every day.
Mau Mau, you're going to have to follow him to his office and use your jungle hypnosis to convince him.
But boss, that utterly drains me.
Well, that's a trade-off I'm willing to take. Here, I'll make a distraction while you sneak off. Oh, reception boy, tell me more about this painting of God.
Come in.
Mr. Mannequin,
Oh no, not you. I was just settling down with a decadent tiramisu.
you must give us the ruby garnet, Mr. Mannequin.
I can't go around giving Ruby Garnets to every Tom, Dick and Fanny.
Harry,
Oh, or Harry.
we need the ruby garnet, Mr. Mannequin. You want to give it to us.
What?
The ruby garnet, Mr. Mannequin. Give me the ruby garnet. Your father's voice, Mr. Mannequin. Your father's voice drumming on your mother's womb. Tears of joy drowning hives of ants, straw roofs on fire. You want to give me the ruby garnet.
What's going on?
Unseen colors upon a waterfall. The smiling faces of those who no longer exist. The footprints of those long dead. The printed hands of those now ash. The same twinkling stars and pure white moon above them all. Before and after crawling and walking things. Before the germs beneath your own fingernails even formed. The ruby garnet, please.
Yes, sure. Here's the key to the display case. I'll turn the alarm off.
And you see, that's why they're called bass notes, you see? Because after the other two notes have evaporated...
Boss.
Mau Mau, you look peculiarly unburdened by horrendous pain.
Yes, but I do have the ruby garnet.
But you didn't use your power of hypnosis.
No, but I did scare the shit out of Mr. Mannequin. How's the receptionist?
Hey! He's fast asleep.
I'm sure he was far too excited.
Well, excitement does have that effect on people. Anyway, enough dallying. To the train station.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm just saying.
Let's go then.
Yeah, let's go.
Join us next time for another exciting episode of The Case of the Curse of the Ruby Garnet. A little treat for you music aficionados right now. We have in the studio, live with us, Leroy LaToc. What are you singing about today, Leroy?
Yeah, When I'm all out, yeah, and a fear, sticky palm, look back into the mirror, I see a wolf's eyes. Monica Lewinsky.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. I love the bit at the end because it reminds me of taking off my underwear. What did you think, Damian?
I thought that was lovely.
It was... Leroy, that was a lot of chuff. Thank you very much. This one's called Grand Team Up Royale Maximum, Part 1. Jab, jab, counter, block counter, tiger uppercut, and finally a killing haymaker Nguyen to finish off the last of Hernandez's men. Soon another two, the stragglers of the bunch, come to the rescue, but a split kick deals with them and their typical subpar henchman training. Jackie Chan breathes a sigh of relief. He's a martial arts expert, but he's more than that. He's also a man of peace. He just wants to stop Hernandez's evil plan, but something's confused him. There should have been more bad guys than that. As he stalks closer to the reactor, he sees a few bloodied bodies of the Shadow League. What's going on, thinks Jackie Chan. Then he sees a man dressed in black, flipping one henchman over his shoulder before drop-kicking another into a trash compactor, badly damaging the finish. They begin to fight each other, but are very evenly matched, and through some witty dialogue, realize they're on the same side. The other guy, who isn't Jackie Chan, is in fact Steven Seagal. Great, says Jackie, what an international duo we will be. I'm Chinese, and you're fat. Let's go. And that's from Garth in Harvard. Thank you very much for that, Garth.
Boisterous.
Boisterous Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is how we make strides in France. That sounds very French. Boisterous.
So obviously, and perhaps meaninglessly, because if you've gotten through this, you've listened to Damian's tentacle porn story. But obviously, you know, I guess this is a fairly sensitive subject, but it shouldn't come as a shock to anyone that the internet is full of filth.
Absolutely.
It really is. I mean, I think the internet is a terrible place. I think there's a lot of knowledge there. It's a bit like a library that's been covered in cum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cum that don't wash off.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're kind of like knee deep in it.
Yeah.
Cum, a bit of blood, few corpses that people have decided to share.
Yeah, you've got it's just covered in those really old dry cum stones where they start to turn brown a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess when people talk about...
You know, when you really should be burning your bed sheets.
When people talk about... Oh, you meant to burn them, are you? I thought I just heard...
I cook them.
I just just said you going at it every morning with your chisel.
Oh, yes.
Trying to get your pants off. But I think when people talk about the worst things they found on the internet or just seen generally, it's usually porn. But a lot of stuff on the internet isn't pornographic or sexual. Like, I've seen a lot of death on the internet.
Yeah.
Like that thing I was telling you about with the guy.
The cocaine thing, right? Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the narcos in Mexico, yeah. Who'd done those terrible things to that guy. They like amputated his hands and amputated his eyes. And they'd amputated his face. They'd flayed his face, but he was still conscious. And yeah, that's upsetting.
Yeah,
I can't think of a joke to say now.
No, I mean I remember the first time I'd seen like someone being moided.
Oh yeah.
And I should probably just put it out there that it was online. It wasn't actually, in front of me.
In front of you, which would be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But it was a long, long time ago, maybe 8 years, something like that. And video quality back then was atrocious. So I saw something that was tantamount to like a GIF these days.
Yeah, right.
And it was just apparently it was a KGB thing, but this had a woman pinned to the ground and they just cut her head off. It's just a tight.
tight. You sure
shot.
it wasn't a Chechen thing?
I don't remember the specifics. I just
Yeah.
remember just seeing them plunge a knife into the net and then just saw through until
Until it was off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw exactly the same thing, but it was Chechens doing, or Chechen terrorists doing it to a Russian soldier that they got, and they cut his head off. And I thought, like, I'm glad they cut his head off. Like, I'm glad he's dead, sort of like straight away. Because I saw that ISIS video, this like very well produced ISIS video where they have a room full of people in orange boiler suits, and they're going to kill them. And they show you them killing every single one.
Oh my fuck!
Like they hang them upside down. They hang them upside down so it's halal. I don't know if they can make hot dogs with them afterwards or something. But it's awful. And it's there on the internet. I think a lot of people don't see it unless they go looking for it. But there are forums and websites just dedicated to people sharing this stuff.
So there was a friend of ours that was really into it. I mean, I would never go looking for it, but
oh god, yeah.
And I just get either a random email or I'd be at his house at the odd moment. He'd be like, "Oh, come have a look at this," and be like, "What?" And then just hit the space bar, and then you just like flash up and be like, "Oh my god, thank you very much for that."
Yeah, I remember him doing that to me, and he said like, "Oh, look at this, it's really hot," and I went to see what he got, and it was a woman like shoving a snake up her pussy.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like
I don't remember. I didn't see that.
Like
but...
what? I mean, why is he looking at that? Why does it exist? Why does it exist?
Yeah,
that's got to be cruelty. Like one of the worst things I ever saw, going back to the porn thing, 2 girls, 1 octopus.
Oh,
right.
I've only heard of that.
I watched it with my old boss. Like it's a 40-minute video, and we skipped through it. It's one of those things you see, and it's like, I've got to see what happens. It can't be what I think it is, and it is. And they basically kill an octopus.
Yeah, I mean, I only know what you've told me. You've given me a brief outline. That's kind of all I'm happy knowing that little about it.
Yeah,
glad I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's awful. One thing that we both have come across fairly recently is the Pikachu.
Oh yes.
Porn thing.
Yeah.
Strokomon,
yeah.
Strokomon, where it's like porn does a lot of porn parodies of stuff like Star Trek and TV shows.
Yeah,
films and stuff like that.
I've seen a lot of adverts for like cartoon porn for things like Family Guy, Simpsons, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
King of the Hill, which is pretty weird.
What, King of the Hill's weirder than the Simpsons?
No, but anything trying to like sexualize Peggy. I don't know.
Yeah, you really hate Peggy. Yeah, not Bobby or anything. You don't care about that.
No,
because all the cartoon porn I've seen has been pretty paedophilic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like. Yeah, it's not like they've decided, well, that character's not an adult. We won't draw that. No, they draw everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, my God. What a sad world we live in.
Yeah.
So the Pikachu porn, basically, I haven't seen any of the Pikachu porn. All I've seen is the person playing Pikachu, which has like they have like a latex head on them.
Yeah.
And these ears stuck on them, and it's a fucking abomination.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'd seen like a couple of videos of like girls dressed up in like little yellow miniskirts with the ears saying "Pika Pika" while they're getting ramrodded. Right. But this was like a top and tail costume, and
like latex job.
Yeah, it looked like a flesh suit. Like they'd skinned something alive and just sewn them into it.
It belonged in a horror movie. Like it was good quality, but it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I when I saw it, I thought, like if I was a cop who was called round to like the hotel room, like the hotel concierge called the cops and they were like, "Yeah, we don't know what the fuck's going on in there, but you've got to get over here because it sounds mental." If I broke the door down, I'd blow that thing away.
Yeah, shoot on sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrific.
I'd think they'd like summon some sort of demon from hell.
Yeah.
Because it is awful. I mean, how's that erotic?
Well, how was what I discovered erotic as well? But there's a market for things like that, and God knows. I'm sure we'll have bumped into a lot of people which secretly are into it, but obviously would never fess up.
Yeah, I remember.
I guess there's a reason it's a burgeoning market.
Talking to my friend who told me that he was with someone else, someone who had a sick mind, and they got sent this link on Facebook, and he opened it in front of the guy I knew, and it was like a 20-second clip of this guy dressed in like a clown costume, wearing an apron, fucking bits of a dead cow.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
there's just so much. What the fuck in that one sentence?
Yeah, and I always think about like the person who produced it. Like, is that just like a normal producer? Like the director, yeah, sure, was mental, but the producer was just like, yeah, I'll organise it for you. Yeah, I'll get a soundman for you and everything.
Yeah, there's an entire crew there. Maybe even like a craft catering table or
I'll
something
get
like that.
Table. A craft catering table as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is better than usual. Oh, my
yes.
God, vegetarian chili. It tastes just as good as well. Cool on you say, I'd have never guessed. Says everyone on set.
Yeah, there is a group of people which have to be complicit in those kind of acts.
Yeah, absolutely. I've often thought that with people who video porn. Like, I don't think if you're doing porn, I don't think you're like a videographer who just does straight porn. I think you just do what you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess for a lot of people, it's just another gig. I guess a lot of them didn't break into like legitimate stuff and be like, fine, porn's good enough.
We need a reflector on that ball sack. Yeah, how's there any more money in porn?
Now that, for as far as I can tell, everything people consume is almost always free.
Yeah. I mean, do the people paying for porn, do they not realise that there's not just places you can go, it's everywhere?
Yeah, effortlessly.
Yeah. I think that porn now has started to kind of be compartmentalised into very specific fetishes, right? Or not just fetishes, like the girls of porn. Or I suppose not just girls, is it? The performers of porn. Like, I think it's about kind of trying to obsess your audience with that particular girl or that particular thing,
mm-hmm.
so they have to pay for it because you can't get enough of it out there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because if you type in a porn actress's name, you'll find it for free.
Yeah.
But if you type like so-and-so foot fetish, maybe you won't find that. Maybe you'll have to pay for that.
Yeah, that'll be a subscription thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. That's how I do it anyway.
Yeah, and I'm sure it fucking works as well.
Yeah, you pay like $150 a month for porn,
and it's worth every fucking penny.
Yeah.
I never stop coming.
No.
This is like the 20-minute break in my day.
Yeah.
But when you can, like, a lot of these actresses have like Twitters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you look them up. They've got like an Amazon wish list up there which they publish.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And a lot of them are escorts. Right?
Yeah.
Almost. Well, I don't know if it was always like that, but almost all of them do a tour.
Yeah.
Where they go to different cities and businessmen pay. Well, not just businessmen. Anyone with money pays and they fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much always the case now with porn, isn't it? It's actually.
I didn't know that. Well, yeah.
It's not so much porn anymore. It's more like these prostitutes just have extremely high public profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you do porn, you're essentially a prostitute, aren't you? Because you're getting paid to fuck somebody. You're getting paid to be fucked.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is something like you are soliciting a prostitute if you're soliciting someone for sex, but if you're paying two people to fuck each other, then you're a porn producer.
That's called sport.
Sport. Yeah, you can't actually have sex with a prostitute, but you can say to someone, "Here's $100. I've got a gun. You've got 30 seconds. Deal?" But they have to say yes. They have to agree. Otherwise, it's murder.
Yeah, you have to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that probably is legal. If it isn't, it should be. Consenting adults.
Mm.
Yeah. Exploitation of desperate people. It's the American way.
Yeah, it's nice.
So,
on that delightful note,
you have been listening to the Bang Bros.
Yes.
.com.
Yes, and Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's going to be another one after this before Christmas. So.
Disregard. Fuck it. Sorry.
Yeah. Kwanzaa, or whatever it's called. What's it called?
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, bitches.